Can you hear me, dear students? Online students? Prajwal, Tia, Daria, Ashwini, Sneha. Can you hear me, beta?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Quickly turn on your cameras, everyone, so that I can see you. Sure. So now we are going to start with part 2 of the 100 dresses that we did earlier. Now we are going to begin with part 2. Is it working? Working, right? Can you put up this profile? Thank you. Okay, so now I think my voice is quite clear, right? Okay. See, in this particular chapter, what thing that is highlighted is a father writing a letter on behalf of his daughter to her class teacher. What is the name of the class teacher? Yes. Okay. So that is more intense, and that is more of emotional kind of. The letter will include everything that Wenda suffered in a very short form. So who is going to read? I want everyone's camera to be turned on. Kashwini, Daria, Chalo, Tia, Devanshi. Want to read? Aloud, okay? Pay attention, everyone. We'll begin now. Yes.
While the class was circling the room, the monitor from the principal office was Miss Messenger note. Miss Messenger read it several times, then studied it thoughtfully for a while. Then she clapped her hands, attention clapped, everyone back to their seats.
Yes. So now, this itself talks about the intensity of the letter. The moment there was this kid who came with this letter and handed over to Miss Mason, she read it a couple of times, and then she took a deep breath, and then maybe the letter had to be addressed publicly. So she asked entire class to settle down at one place, and everyone was now eagerly waiting for Miss Mason to speak what the letter had included. Okay, over to you.
When the shuffling of feet stopped and the room was still and quiet, Miss Messenger said, I have a letter from Wanda's father that I want to read to you. Miss Messenger stood there a moment and the silence in the class she said and expectant.
Yes, so the more Miss Mason, remained silent, the more it started creating kind of curiosity amongst students. Like, what is it that Miss Mason is trying to say? Or what is it that, is so deep and so intense that Miss Mason is taking some time in addressing the mass? She said, and then she stopped for a while, that there is this letter from Wenda's father, and that she would like to read it to them. Continue.
The teacher adjusts her glasses slowly and reiterated. Her manner indicated that what was coming. This letter from Wenda's father was a matter of great importance. Everybody listened closely as Miss Messon read the brief note.
Yes, so she must have got the glasses that she was wearing. So she cleaned it up and she wore it again. And then the way she was about to begin to read the letter, it looked like it required certain kind of preparation, or it required certain kind of emotion and anxiety rather to read this entire letter. She adjusted herself. See, you might have known that, when your parents wants to do some serious talk to you, they will remain silent for some time. And the more they remain silent, the more curious you become. Okay, the same happened here with the students also. The more silent Miss Mason got, the more curious they were to hear what exactly the letter had to say. Continue.
Dear teacher, my Wenda will not come to your school anymore. Jake also. Now we have moved away to big city. No more Holland. No more ask why funny name. Plenty of funny names in the big city. Yours truly, Jen Petros.
Yes. So it was short and sweet, but with full purpose. So you can very well understand what the letter included. It said that Miss Mason, now my daughter and my son They both are not going to come to your school again anymore. Now they are moving to a bigger city, and there are many funnier names there. See here, probably his child was, tortured. Here, probably his child was, teased a lot. But Jane Petronsky makes it very clear that there are many funny names in city. So probably she will not face any difficulty, or she will not face any problem in adjusting herself with her so-called weird name. Okay, so even her younger brother will also not study here anymore. The entire family has been shifting to where? The entire family has been shifting to the city, big city. Continue.
A deep silence.
Yeah.
There is no more order for that.
Can you show me? No more holler polak means अब उसको लेके कोई trouble नहीं होगी, kind of chaos that was created. So now we have no more holler polak. Holler polak means, the kind of fun that she was made, she was centralized in making fun of. So now, she won't be anymore, the center of, the teasing, where people were excitedly, waiting for her to get into the class. But now she will no more be a holler polak. Okay, now we are moving towards the bigger city. Continue.
A deep silence met the view of this letter. Miss Mason took off her glasses, blew on them, and whipped them on her soft white handkerchief.
Now imagine, if I'm scolding you. See, all this description is given for you to imagine in what state of existence Miss Mason might have been, right? So she was standing there. So once she completed reading the letter, she put the letter aside. She, took off her glasses, started to, wipe. So looking like this, you see. So until the time she was in the process of doing this, the entire class was silent. So you can very well say, what even students might also have, regretted of, probably what might just have happened. Okay, continue.
Then she put them on, then she put them on again and looked at the ground. When she spoke, her voice was very low. I am sure that one of the boys' words is to look carefully and don't have another feelings because these are her name.
You understand this, right? And students, student passes to another standard. They often miss their earlier grade teachers. But many a times there are instances where even teachers also miss certain students. Like it is very difficult to get good teacher in life. It is also very difficult to get good students in life. And many times the teachers might not show that who they are missing, but then definitely they are certainly missing certain set of students who once upon a time were their students. Okay, so no, Miss Mason's voice was now quite painful, because now she knew what had happened now. And probably the way Miss Mason will address, it will look like she's not targeting any specific student individually, but she tries to say that whatever has happened. She's not blaming on individual, whether it was Peggy or it was Venda who heard, but it was general how people treated her in general way. Okay, see, anything is valued equally important before we get it and after we lose it. Somewhere in between, we lose the crux, we lose the importance. And somewhere now, when the Petronsky is not there amidst them, they regret. They feel like, what if they might have stood beside Vanda when she needed the most, right? There are times, where you want, literally, you want someone to stand by you, irrespective of any problem that you have been facing. But at times, you certainly require, people to stand with you. You don't want them to be a part of your problem, but then you want someone, right? That no, that you can say that no, I have someone who is standing beside me. Okay, you are not going to use them, you are not going to make the best of them, but to say that no, you have someone to whom you say that no, he knows everything or she knows everything. Probably Venda didn't have anyone, and few of the students in the class are feeling that what if they might have took a stand for Venda Petronsky, but this didn't happen. So the class was full of regrets. Somewhere, Peggy was also there. But Peggy was the prettiest girl. She had curly hairs, and more than that, what was the third quality? She had many colorful dresses. So even if you know that you have done something wrong, you will not accept public. You have that kind of nature at times. That deep inside, you know that you are wrong, and you feel it. How many of you have ever felt that you are wrong? Genuinely, you were wrong at times, but you couldn't say, because then you felt immediate regret. Why should I accept? And especially when it comes to accepting it publicly, then you have that what should I say, that shy quality. See, okay, we are very pure by heart, but somewhere today also even I feel that why. But then somewhere now I am on that particular state that if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm sorry, I'm wrong. So matter will be closed. I don't want to get it stretched, like a chewing gum, stretching like, no, it was not my fault. It was your fault. No, it was not. It was my fault. No. Okay, 2 + 2 is 5. Accept. Get lost. You reach to that stage of life where whatever you say is right. Please get lost.
As
Because what you ultimately want is peace for your own self, for God's sake. Okay, and you cannot entertain any drama in your life anymore. You will reach to that state, don't worry. But first of all, you'll have to go through a lot of drama. Okay, and then you will have this state of mind where 2 + 5 stanza, keep it 5. I agree, please. Because deep inside, you know that this is holy shit. It's wrong. But why to unnecessarily improve someone who is not ready to improve? You see? So people are feeling that what if they wish they could have stood beside Venda Petronsky? Peggy knows that something has gone wrong, but she won't accept it. Or probably we are not shown in the chapter that she accepts that something went wrong from her side and that shouldn't have happened. Okay? Go ahead.
I prefer to think that what was said in thoughtlessness. I know that all of you feel the way I do, that this is very unfortunate thing to have happened, unfortunate and sad, both, and I want you all to think about it. The first period was a study period. Mary tried to prepare her lessons, but she could not put her mind on her work. She had a very sick feeling in the bottom of her stomach.
Okay, see, pay attention now. See, Miss Mason is doing her job as a teacher. She's not blaming that, no, it was, Bansi's fault. She shouldn't have spoken like this. That's why, Rudra went away. It's not like that. She's addressing, always a teacher knows who is right and wrong. Trust me. And as a student and as a teacher, this is my experience. Okay, because I have seen a teacher's life very closely, in my life of 31 years that I've lived, because my father was also a teacher. So when he used to go to school and come back, I have lived with him. So I've seen a life of a teacher as a child, as a student, and now as a teacher. So, and trust me, a teacher knows who is right and who is wrong. So, when he or she says it's your fault, you accept it. Because she doesn't require or he doesn't require any evidence to prove that you are wrong. First of all, okay. And second most important thing, बड़ा दिल करके टीचर बोल भी देते कि चलो इसका किसी का फॉल्ट था, तो हाउ मैनी उठने का कि देखा, मैंने बोला टीचर को पता भी नहीं. Teacher still knows who is right and who is wrong. Probably here also Miss Mason knew that who is right and wrong, but she addressed public in general that I don't know if you feel the same way like I. She said, remember? So as a teacher, for her, all the students are same, and so was Wenda Petronsky, irrespective of her weird name, dear students. Okay. So, when a good student, takes away the admission, the most regret that an individual can have in the entire school is the class teacher. Okay. She deep or he deep inside, feels that a good student went for wrong reasons. Had it been true reasons, it would have been fine. But she went for wrong reasons. Okay. So Miss Mason made it open that, see, I want you to ponder upon this thought. When she said this, she also wanted to tell the students that, see, look into this, that this doesn't happen again. She also wanted to address people in this way. Okay. So the next period, of course, was the study period or reading period, whatever it is. And unfortunately, Maddie could not concentrate because she had deep, that sick feeling in her stomach that, she knew what was going wrong and she couldn't correct it. There was a time to correct it, but she just couldn't do it. So this was constantly pinching her and was, dominating over her state of mind that she couldn't concentrate. Okay, please go ahead.
Right, listening to Peggy ask Wenda how many dresses she had in her closet. But she had said nothing. She had stood by silently, and that was just as well as what Peggy had done. More, she was the power, at least Peggy hadn't considered they were being mean, but she, Maddie, had thought they were doing wrong. She put herself in contact too. But there wasn't there anything she could do, if only she could tell Vanya she hadn't mean to hurt her feelings.
Yes, see, Maddie tries to justify herself, and I think I've explained you before even this statement came that she was regretting of not stopping Peggy on doing what she was doing. Perhaps if at least once, she would have said to Peggy that, see, Peggy, what you are doing is something wrong, and I think you must stop. Okay, she couldn't even, say that, or probably she lacked the courage, or she was coward enough. See, when a person is doing wrong, you are there. And when a person is doing wrong, he's doing wrong, and still you are silent, you are equally a partner to him. Okay, because somewhere you are making this happen. This is because of you that this is happening. Wish if you say no, that this shouldn't be done. How many of you have seen that Karate Kid movie? You know that, right? The son, the Will Smith son. Okay. So initially, when this guy messes up with those four Chinese, then there is a star liquid. He throws on these four people, and then the long chasing takes place. Okay, so all four of them or five of them, they run behind this guy and try to chase him. They run for 5 to 10 minutes, and then there is this end. The road ends, and this guy gets stuck up, and all these four, amongst them there is this one leader, who messes up the entire group. So he starts hitting him. There is this one guy, if you have seen, I think it was yesterday only this movie was there. He tries to stop that person from hitting this guy. Said, leave it, man. He's weak. Okay, he has learned his lesson now. Please stop. So the one who is hitting, he pushes him back. You get lost. Remember what sir has said. No mercy, no pain. There was another also third sentence I forgot actually. So I imagined Maddie in place of her. Wish if Maddie would have been there. That guy at least said that stop now. Maggie couldn't even do that. So now you see who to blame, Peggy or Maddie, who saw something was going wrong and couldn't do anything about it. Please continue.
She turned around and stole a glance at Peggy, but Peggy did not look up.
क्यों देखेगी? पता था फॉल्ट में थी वो. रिग्रेट तो दिखेगा नहीं उसकी आंखों में. कंटिन्यू.
Seemed to be studying hard, and whether Peggy felt badly or not, she and Maddie had to do something. She had to find Wanda Petrovsky. Maybe she had not yet moved away. Maybe Peggy would climb the heights with her, and they would tell Wanda she had won the contest. as they thought she was smart and the hundred just were foolish.
Yes, now see what has happened. You cannot change it. The teasing has happened. The letter has been received. Now you cannot return the letter. You cannot, get back your words of teasing. But now there was this constant thing, running in the mind of Maddie, because she tried to look at Peggy. Because if Peggy would have seen at Maddie, probably the thoughts would have matched. Okay, but no, Peggy was busy studying or was pretending that she was studying. But then deep inside, Maddie thought that no, I must, look for Venda Petronsky. Maybe she has not yet left. Maybe, I just want to go and tell her that, see, you have won the contest. And like what you said, like you had 100 dresses in your closet, you are actually right. And all your dresses are pretty. Okay. She just wanted to tell her this. Okay, but do you really think that Venda Petronsky must have been waiting there? No. You see how strong the character Venda Petronsky is. She doesn't have any dialogue. Her physical presence is not there, but you still see the way Venda Petronsky dominates in entire part one and part two. The name itself is dominating, guys. Okay, so look from the point of view of the character sketch. Despite her physical association is not seen, her dialogues are not given. Okay, but still, Venda Petronsky is one of the strongest characters in both the parts, part one and part. Please continue.
When school was dismissed in the afternoon, Peggy said, with pretended casualness, hey, let's go and see if the spill that he has left the town again. So Peggy had the same idea. Maggie glowed and was clearly all right. The two girls hurried out of the building, up the street towards Bobby's Heights.
Now, say, pay attention. अब मैडी कुछ बोले ना उसके पहले पैगी नहीं बोले कि चल ना एक काम करते वहां पे जाके देखते थे बॉगिन साइड पे क्यों आया कि नहीं वो लड़की कौन था क्या नाम था उसको वेंडा पेट्रोंस्की है कि नहीं चल ना देख के आते हैं see somewhere she is not ready to accept that no actually they are concerned. See, Peggy has her own ways of finding out. Okay, she says that, okay, let's do one thing, Maddie, let's go and find out at Boggin's side whether she's there or not. Okay, continue.
The part of town that was such a forbidding air on this fine of a November afternoon. Disney jumped and said Peggy quickly. I never did call her a foreigner for of her name. I never thought she had to be like making fun of her anyway. I thought she was look how she can draw.
See, pay attention. There are few students or few kids who are so sensitive. They might not say any single word, but their behavior speaks a lot. And they are sensitive to that extent that they take it so seriously. I'll tell you two incidents I can give you. Before few days, there was this one kid who played the role of Bhagat Singh, and he was doing the preparations. He was about to play the role of Bhagat Singh, and he was doing the practicing of artificially hanging himself. But unfortunately, the stood got aside, and he got himself hanged, actually. And unfortunately, he met to his death while rehearsing for his drama. Second incident was there was this guy who was a national, volleyball player, and he also scored around 95% in 10th. And because of this academic pressure, he committed suicide. Now you see, he had two golden opportunities in his life. If he is not good in academics, he could have made his career in sports, right? And you know how bright the future of sports is now, looking at the Olympics. Okay. What I want to address generally is that, see, you will be something in your life one day. Okay, so don't carry that kind of typical pressure in your life that what if I don't top? I didn't top my academic life ever. Trust me, and I don't even regret. Okay, because simultaneously I was doing many things others. in my life, which the toppers were not doing, unfortunately or ironically. So I don't regret of not being a so-called topper. But what ultimately you have to believe is something that you are really passionate about. You should not leave that. Okay, even if you're a passionate musician, you love playing any of the instrument, you are learning it anywhere, or probably you are a good sports player, you are a good athlete, so probably you shouldn't stop doing that. Understand this. You keep that going as a passion. Trust me, it is going to prove as a plan B in your life. Trust me. If plan A fails, you already have plan B, and you should always be up with plan B in your life. All right. Life doesn't end if you don't score good marks in academics. Trust me. All right. So you, unfortunately, when we are discussing about the sensitive kids like how Wenda Petronsky was, Peggy and Maddie didn't even think that this Wenda Petronsky will take it to the next level. The way she was sensitive, and probably the matter would reach to this level, no one ever imagined it to be like. Okay, what they thought was that what Peggy and Maddie thought that, of course, this girl Wenda Petronsky is dumb. Okay, she takes everything, or either she doesn't take anything in her mind. Okay, please continue.
Maggie could say nothing, all she hoped was that they could do
Just
I
a
had
just. Can you please close the door properly? Is it happening? Yes, thank you. Yes, please. Yeah, continue.
She wanted to tell her that they were sorry. They had picked on her and how wonderful the whole school thought she was. And please not to move away and everybody would be nice. She and Peggy would fight anybody who was not nice. The two girls hurried on. They hoped to get to the top of the hill before dark.
Yes, now understand this. Now it's like messing up with something and then trying to cover it up. And that's what ideally Peggy and Maddie are planning to do. Peggy and Maddie, they both wanted to go to Boggain's side to end up at Petronsky and tell her that they were sorry that they picked her up to pick someone up. That means to decide to, or tease someone, or to decide that you now are targeting this one and then now you will take it for a longer version. So they basically wanted to tell Wenda Petronsky that they were sorry and they picked her up, and probably they also wanted to tell her that you don't go away, please remain in the same school, and they both, Peggy and Maddie, will ensure. Yeah, please, yeah, definitely. So they both wanted to tell Wenda Petronsky that please don't go away, and anyone would dare tease Wenda Petronsky, they will be the one who will be covering up Wenda Petronsky before anyone takes her up. Okay, but now what's lost is lost. It cannot be regained. I'll tell you about one poet, uh, Paradise Lost, was written by John Milton, and he became blind while writing Paradise Lost. It's one of the longest poems in the history of English literature. Poem, longest poem in the history of English literature. So somewhere in the middle of the poem, unfortunately, he went blind. He completed Paradise Lost anyway. And guess what? He also wrote Paradise Regain after that. See, anything is just a hurdle if you think it is a hurdle. If you have decided something, I think there is nothing which can stop you. That guy ultimately went blind and he still wrote Paradise Regained after Paradise. And that is also one of the longest forms of the poem. So, but now what is lost is he couldn't get back his eyes, but his works people see from the point of view of John Milton. His work is still reflected and people still appreciate him as one of the most memorable, favorite, and iconic poet of all times in the history of English. Please continue.
I think that's where the Petronsky live, said Mary, pointing to a little white house. Wisps of old grass stuck up here and there along the pathway, like thin kittens. The house and its fat little yard looked shabby but clean. I reminded Maddie of Venda's one dress, her faded blue cotton dress, shabby but clean. There was not a sign of life about the house.
So, they couldn't find anyone, maybe at the front side of the house or even the back side of the house. So it gave a clear sign that they have already, or the Petronskis have already moved out of the Boggin's height now. Okay, I think the gas has been leaked. This voice is coming. Chalo, koi baat. We are on a safe side, right? Can you please open the window? With light hand. उसका कुछ लेना देना नहीं है, आपको सिर्फ खिसकनी है। हाँ, देखा? वो सिर्फ दिखने के लिए। Lock is just for the sake of visualization, else it doesn't have any role to play. That lock is a disguise thing. If it is there, people think that it is lock, but it is. Because I've been seeing the same window since 3 years. It opens in the same way. How did you open? Chalo, let us move next.
Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. She and Mary went along the backyard and knocked there. Still there was no answer. There was no doubt about it that pregnancy had gone. How could they ever make Amanda's? They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill.
Now, when they went back down the hill, they were not happy, rather they were disappointed. Because the purpose for which they came to Boggin's Height, unfortunately, they couldn't fulfill that purpose. Okay, so now they are on their way back down the hill, and they are disappointed, they are sad, and they have missed an opportunity to confess their their crime, rather, or whatever it was to confess. But basically, they were there to convince Wenda Petronsky not to leave this place and should get back to the what? Should get back to the school. Close the window. Please continue.
Then anyway, said like just one now, so what did we do? Besides, when I was asking her about her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawing. She might not even have won the contest otherwise.
Yes, see, she again is trying to cover her up. AC बंद करना है? No issue, sir. We'll do that. Is that working? Where is the switch? Close. So, when Peggy said that probably when she said that, when she was asking Wenda Petronsky about how many dresses she has in her closet, probably she was giving ideas to Wenda Petronsky. She says that, see, I was basically acting as a stimuli to Wenda Petronsky. Maybe I was an indirect motivation to her. When I was constantly asking her about how many dresses she has in her closet, I was indirectly inspiring her. See, anyways, I'm not in fault. Okay. See, I told you people, they will never accept it is their fault. Please continue. Yes. So, no, Maddie didn't bother to reply her. Okay. This was, or this might have been her response to, Peggy when she says that she was, an inspiration to her. But when they went back, she probably couldn't get this Venda Petronsky out of her mind. Her faded, dress, a tiny house, and Peggy teasing her. She just couldn't get over it. Continue.
And she thought of the movie picture of 100 dresses made, all lined up in the classroom, and asked Betty set up his bed and pressed the forehead tightly her little thought. This was the hardest thinking she had ever done after a long time.
Yeah.
She reached an important conclusion. She was never going to stand by and say nothing to it.
Yes. So she was now from इतना वो सोच रही थी वेंडा पेट्रोन्स्की के बारे में कि फाइनली वो सर पकड़ के ऐसे बैठ गई। यार इतना तो मैंने मेरी जिंदगी में कभी किसी टॉपिक के ऊपर सोचा नहीं है। And she's literally getting on her nerves, but it was that particular night, my dear students, where she decided that now she's going to stand for the people. She's going to be a voice for the voiceless people. Okay, she's not going to stand for anything that is working on someone's insecurities. She's definitely going to stand on the weak people. That is what she decided that particular night. Continue.
If she ever saw anybody picking on somebody they had funny music or because they had strange names, she explained even if losing Peggy's friendship.
Yes, she decided that अब से स्कूल में कोई भी किसी का फन कर रहा है, चाहे वो फनी नाम भी क्यों ना हो या फनी नेशनैलिटी या फिर कहीं से वो क्यों नहीं आते हो. If she figured out that someone is making fun of someone because of the funnier name or funnier place where he or she comes from, she is going to take a stand for the weaker class, and she is definitely going to take a stand even if it means to lose the friendship of Peggy. Now she's all set, now she's decided that now no more. This one experience is quite enough to take stand for the others. Continue.
She had no way of making things right with Ida, but from now on she would never make anybody else unhappy again.
जा गया विद्यार्थी. Of course, the mistakes that Peggy and Maddie have done in the case of Venda Petronsky, they cannot get over that mistakes. But now, definitely, what Maddie can do is that now onwards, this kind of incident will never happen again in the school. Continue. Can you reread the first two lines? I'm sorry. First two lines.
On Saturday, when we spent the afternoon with Peggy, they were writing a letter to Madame. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Madame she had won.
मतलब देखो ये इनडायरेक्ट तरीका है वेंडा पेट्रोन्स्की से कांटेक्ट एस्टैब्लिश करने का. ठीक है, उस दिन उस दोपहर को Peggy और Maddie they sat together and they decided that they are going to write a letter to Venda Petronsky, and in which, see, this letter is going to be very friendly. Okay, see, they are justifying by their own selves. No one had asked him that what are you going to include in that letter or what is this letter basically for. So she herself says that basically it's an informal letter, kind of friendly letter, where they will just inform Venda that you have won. Now, do you really think that वो लोग इतना ही लिखना वाला? Right? We also know that. Please continue.
It was how Peggy was very sad and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry. They ended up with just writing a friendly letter.
देखो पर्पस तो ये था कि भाई वो लेटर में हम सॉरी लेटर लिखेंगे, अपोलॉजी लेटर लिखेंगे, लेकिन लेटर में इसके अलावा बहुत कुछ लिख लिया. बोले कि यार तू जहाँ पे रह रही है वो जगह अच्छी तो है ना, तुझे पसंद तो आ रही है ना, तेरी नई स्कूल कैसी है, तेरी नई टीचर तुझे पसंद आई. हाँ, This is kind of silly thoughts they are writing in the letter. But the purpose of writing or drafting the letter was to apologize. And apologizing, is one of the hardest tasks in the world. Have you ever dared tell someone sorry? कभी किसी ने यहाँ से sorry कहा है किसी को? कितना difficult है बता सकते हो? Any time have you said sorry to anyone? Online students, anyone? You have said sorry to who? You came across and was it easy? Or it was a very casual sorry where you don't even mean sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, जैसे अब देखो मैं यहाँ से जा रहा हूँ और मैं किसी से टकरा जाता हूँ sorry. I don't actually mean sorry, right? वो तो प्रोसेस है और न्यूटन का लॉ है एक्शन रिएक्शन टकराया सॉरी निकल agree with me or not? It's an action reaction. Which law of motion is it? Second or third?
Third law of motion.
Yes. So sorry. एक sorry नहीं निकल कितने निकल है आप मानोगे नहीं and this is really happened no 4-5 दिन पहले मैं गोता था और गोता की मार्केट में था and I was actually looking for my mobile cover और probably मैं इस साइड था और इस साइड में कोई शॉप जिस शॉप में I went they didn't have enough covers I was looking like this from outside only अंदर जाने का खपाने की मैं उसका ओनर बाहर खड़ा था and he is watching me watching the store like this. So when I stood up, he said, "Yes, what is it?" कहा मेरे को टैबलेट का कवर चाहिए पर क्या नहीं है टैबलेट बोला सामने जाना पड़े and imagine I have a helmet in my right hand and I have this is the other bag that very heavy bag that I have the other hand I had that so मैं helmet से बता ठीक है ऐसे जाना ऐसे हेलमेट लटका हुआ मेरा होता है ना तरीका होता है हेलमेट लटकाते हैं तो ऐसे ऐसे कर रहा हूँ तो दुकान में बाजू में एटीएम में से देयर वाज दिस गर्ल व्हिच केम आउट और उसकी एल्बो पे मेरा हेलमेट लग गया एंड दिस इज द ट्रूएस्ट इंसिडेंट गाइस आई एम टेलिंग यू एंड आई हैड एन इमीडिएट रिग्रेट आई सेड आई एम रियली वेरी सॉरी उसको इट्स ओके बोलने की जगह 5-10 सेकंड तक इतना करती रही हो ऐसे मैं सॉरी बोल रहा हूँ इट्स ओके तो बोलो जानबूझ के थोड़ी कोई मारने वाला है ऐसे लग गई है ना भूल से and it is natural you are never going to get in front of someone and hit them on their face right unless you are an MMA fighter okay so she didn't even have a courtesy of saying it's okay तो मुंह बना के चली गई ऐसे आप तो सॉरी बोलना भी तो पाप है ना because when you say sorry to someone you expect it's okay in return you don't say that no you do 10 push-ups you don't say like that it's difficult to say sorry and when I said she didn't consider how important is my sorry to my own self it doesn't come often but when it comes it expects that it should acknowledge right but there are people and this happened and then I immediately crossed the road as मुझे लगा ज्यादा लग गया है उसको मैं थोड़ी उसके पीछे आया उसको सॉरी बोलने वाला हूँ 5 बार तो मैंने बोल दिया था 3 सेकंड में सॉरी अब उसको ही एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना तो वो अपनी जगह पे अपनी जगह वो आगे देख हम ऐसे चले and the store owner was standing beside me and he was making faces like this क्या हो गया तो वो बेचारा मुझे एड्रेस बता रहा था मैं बोला अच्छा इस तरफ चला इस तरफ boom so and store making faces like ऐसा हुआ है see ideally he was the third person to enjoy whatever happened over there he was the third person he had to enjoy it was his right to enjoy that's what we do right when two people are fighting what do we enjoy we entertain ourselves see Whether we accept it or not, we enjoy. Our purpose is not to go there and, please don't do that, please don't do that. We want entertainment, free of cost entertainment. Paid all entertainment maza nahi aata. But anyways, please, say sorry, and trust me, it requires a lot of guts. Okay, not the physical guts, but this acceptance is really important. And trust me, I really felt bad for that girl because my helmet is very strong. It is there, but I've been using since 6 years now. I met with an accident 3 times in the 6 years. और तीनों दिन बार हेलमेट पहना था and it has saved me. और फिर भी नहीं टूटा है. सोचो तो कितना स्ट्रक होगा वो, है ना? तो उसको लगा तो मुझे रिग्रेट हुआ कि यार इसको बरोबर का लगा. अपने तो हाथ उठाते हैं ऐसे तो फ्री स्टाइल होती है ना अपने, थोड़ी स्लो मोशन में ऐसे उठा. And I really felt bad for that girl. But then I forgot that incident after 1 hour. Because I had many other important things in my life to think about rather than simply, thinking about that incident. But what I personally feel is that, when Maddie and Peggy, they decided to say sorry, I think it is really important. It takes a courage, to accept that it was your fault and you are really sorry about. अब याद रखना कि जब आप दिल से सॉरी होते हो ना, तब आप एक ही बार सॉरी बोलो. But when you don't feel like saying sorry, मतलब आराम से 3-4 बार इजीली निकल जाता है. याद रखना. अब कभी सोचो पास्ट में भी कि when you are actually, feeling sorry, you have just said once, and that, from the bottom of your heart. But that, when you say casually, हाँ वैसे भी कौन से पैसे लगने वाले सॉरी बोलने के, बोल देते हैं. तो ऐसे केसेस में ना 3-4 बार यार I'm sorry यार, अरे बोला तो सही यार सॉरी, कितनी बार सॉरी बोलूं यार. See, ऐसे cases में you are not actually meaning to say sorry, because that is not natural. A natural sorry comes only once. Try. You have entire life to experiment and let me know. I think you are still there for 5-6 more months. Tell me if at all you come across any of this kind of stories in your life. And trust me, to say sorry to your parents is one of the most difficult tasks. You have been knowing them since your birth, but somehow you can't say sorry. And that kind of awkwardness, I think every child faces, because a parent is never expecting you to say sorry anyway. Because उनको तो पता है कि आप कैसे हो, ठीक है ना, छोटे थे तो वो हमको जानते हैं. And when you say so, huh? They will react in this way. What? क्या चाहिए बता दो. Probably, maybe you want something and that's why you are saying sorry, So that happens, So there are types of sorries. But the one which, when Maddie and Peggy, they're trying to say is the authentic one, and they actually mean sorry. Okay, please continue.
I did not visit any good friend. In this finding, lots of efforts for love. They made the letter to Bobby's wife, writing these forward on the envelope. Days passed and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back.
Yes, that means it was expected that the letter must not have been received by Vanda Petronsky. Please continue. Yes, see, there are two ways to accept. See, if Vanda Petronsky has received the letter, maybe she is so hurt that she didn't even bother to reply the letter. And second reason may be that the letter she has not at all received. There is no way in between. Continue. The biggest medicine to heal you is the time. Time is the biggest medicine. So this incident was, of course, started to getting forgotten by, many people. Peggy started to get into the normal livelihood. It was also Maddie who started, focusing on the other things than simply thinking about Venda Petronsky. But, time is the biggest medicine and it will almost heal everything. 95% it will heal automatically. Okay, continue. Now, Maddie can just imagine. What if the moment, she was asked a question about how many dresses she has, and rather than, Venda Petronsky responding, it would Maddie all of a sudden, jump into the conversation and say, shut up. And then, others might start feeling embarrassed and they get lost from there. Now she can just imagine. What if she would have got into the middle of the conversation? Continue. Yes, it was a twist. Now there was another letter which was received by the teacher, and that letter was from no one else than Venda Petronsky. So I think she has the concluding statement to speak, right? Let us see what the letter has in it. Continue, please. Okay, fine. I think we'll keep this in the next class because I think still more 2.5 pages are left, right? 2.5, I guess. 1.5, but I want to explain it in detail. So I think it will take entire 1 hour more. So let us not be in hurry, and we will do it on our Friday's class. Okay, but then this letter is really important, and it has the crux of the entire chapter. So we'll not do any hurry and we'll understand with peace of mind. So far, any doubts, any queries that you have in this chapter? Did you understand everything?
Yes.
Yeah. Chalo, very good. Any doubts, online students? Dharya, Tia, Sneha, Prajwal, Tanisha,
No, sir.
Yashvi? No, right?
No.
So now we'll meet on Friday, same timings, okay? Chalo, bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.